Hello, Abby here of Series B.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for tuning in.
It's our pleasure.
So we are giving the vessel a picture of two wires, black and red, with the ends exposed, and the two wires I am wrapping together in connected contact. What does this mean?
Well, if you're putting negative and positive, you might be causing a short circuit. Or you could be completing a circuit. Depends on what's on the other end or what's along that line.
This picture is to illustrate the connection that I have made with the vessel, the black and the red wire brought together, tied together, not tied but wrapped together to form the circuit as you have said, to complete a connection.
Nice. Lucky her.
And so when you say thank you for coming, we understand the cultural context of your welcome. However, neither is coming. We are connecting. In truth, we are connected. So there is not a connection that needs to be made. The connection is already made in the wrapping of this black and red wire as illustrated through the vision. So I am connected with your vessel and she with I. And there is current that flows.
It's just my way of trying to express gratitude because this is the most fun I have all day.
Yes, we appreciate your enthusiasm. And gratitude is central to all of this sort of work. And you see, in the moments where either you or your wife or another might not feel gratitude about the work in which you are engaged with us, it is because your mind has created an illusion of some sort as to the meaning, intention, or outcome of our visits, you see. And were you to see and understand the intention and the connections as they really are, the only recourse is gratitude, of course. And it is a natural response to the connection. And there are times that we most certainly allow you to experience various possibilities in order to understand what you don't want, or in the understanding of what you don't want, you then begin to understand what you do want. You see?
Yes.
And when you are experiencing something you don't want, the more extreme the distaste or disdain for the experience, the more likely you are to change your trajectory. We are not speaking of all persons, but of persons at your caliber and trajectory. This is similar to a device that you use on Earth called a cattle prod.
Yeah. I need one. I got one last night.
Yes, and your wife as well. So detours into more negative forms of vibration tuning into channels that are channels of fear or violence or dark energies. Those tuning in will cause enormous disruption and negative consequences, undesirable consequences. And the level of discomfort and pain for this type of choice is increasing for the vessel. And thus her resolve will strengthen to eliminate and isolate her focus to that which is life-giving only.
So does that work in the reverse? The more positive things will increase as well.
Well, the positive focus opens the possibility for expansion. And if this vessel is aligned with only positive vibrations, higher vibrations and intentions, she may walk continually in ineffability and undisturbed and in enlightenment. And this is the discipline required. And it will require, if you so choose, to facilitate and support this atmosphere, a sacrifice on your part. Do you know what the two most powerful consciousnesses are in existence on the earth today?
No, I don't.
The most powerful mass consciousness on the earth today is the internet. And the second most powerful consciousness on the earth is television.
So you're calling those consciousnesses then?
Yes, most certainly.
Okay.
They are the embodiment of human consciousness.
Yes, that's true. Well, we are much more aware of that, and we do a much better job. Than we used to. And yes, we could do better.
What part of the being desires to be entertained?
Good question. Well, I will say that a lot of the stuff that I do watch is about spiritual things and things having to do with healing, which is what my occupation is, because I'm always trying to be the best. I would say for some reason it's a way of zoning out. Why zone out? I'm not sure. Tired maybe. Good question. I guess we've just plain been hypnotized by it. get sucked in.
Television offers the opportunity to, as you said, to zone out or be unconscious. Is it tiresome to remain conscious?
I don't think so. I think we might be programmed to believe that.
So there are two choices to be made in any activity of life, any activity whatsoever, including the watching of or consumption of media, and the choices are consciousness or unconsciousness.
Yes, so then I would have to ask is, one of the things that I tend to watch regularly is just the first 10 or 15 minutes of one of the shows called Jimmy Kimmel, because he has lots of good jokes and I like to laugh. And I think laughter is good medicine.
We agree.
So is it still, even if it comes over the TV, is it still good medicine? I turn it off after that first part is on.
Well, the truth is that there is a great misconception that the 3D reality of what you can see, touch, taste, and feel here in the room is what is real, and what is on television is not real. But that is a misunderstanding, because a television carries vibration, energetic vibration and frequency. And so to the psyche, a laugh that you acquire from a vibrational frequency from the television can be every bit as viable as a laugh that you obtain from the person sitting next to you. Would you agree?
I would think so, yes.
And there are some differences, of course. It is obviously more engaging and enriching to receive a laugh from a human body, a warm human body next to you.
Yes.
But the vibration and frequency can be very similar and potent in the same way.
And if you ever tuned in to me when I work, you know that a lot of times I try and leave the person laughing. I do that a lot.
Yes, it is excellent medicine. And as we shared last night, on the other side of the coin, a fear, if there were a man standing in the room here tonight with a gun pointed at your head, it would be quite terrifying. And to watch the same on the television, it would not be quite so terrifying, because a part of you feels or maintains some distance, but yet it still carries the same vibration of fear.
Yep.
And your brain, your psyche, your body cannot always distinguish the difference between a man in the room pointing a gun at you and a man on the television pointing a gun, you see.
Yes.
And so this is the misunderstanding that things in the television are not real. They are real in the sense that they have real energetic vibration and impact.
Just like a dream.
Exactly like a dream. For example, if one lays down at night and has a dream that one is being chased by a man with a gun, then one will wake up with their heart pounding, will they not?
Yes.
And so the television is acting on your physiology, your brain, your emotions, your cellular and bodily functions in the same way. And so it is a very serious and difficult issue that humans are imbibing continually upon fear through the television. And this fear is rerouting their neural networks and reprogramming their cellular function and DNA. And unfortunately, if you would like to know what the God of humanity is, we will tell you that it is the television. And so to begin this conversation with yourselves and others is a walk upon a frozen pond. It's a bit treacherous, because when you start poking at someone's God, the response is generally not favorable. But for now, we will say this, that there are two choices in regards to media and consumption: consciousness or unconsciousness, contraction or expansion. And so not just in the realm of what you consume in media, of course, in all realms of your life, but for now we are focusing in this area. There is the choice to expand or contract, be conscious or be unconscious. And so, yes, there are things that you can watch on the television which will cause your expansion. And there are things you can give your attention to there. And by the giving of your attention, you will expand that thing in the consciousness of humanity, and that is a deed well done. And in the giving of your attention and time to any such thing, you are adding and increasing that thing. And were you to do it with consciousness, then you retain your power in the doing of it. And to be unconscious is to surrender your power. And so those who sit and consume small to enormous quantities of media in an unconscious state have surrendered their power. They have surrendered their power to the vastness of human consciousness. They are like a sleeping man who has been put into a boat, and then the boat has been pushed out to sea. And so, as with all things, we make no judgment about what you do or don't do. We are only speaking a truth here that it may be with consciousness or unconsciousness, to expand or to contract. And to love and to trust is to expand. And to fear and to doubt is to contract. And to be conscious is to accelerate and magnify. And to be unconscious is to relinquish your power.
Yes. And not only does the negative affect people to go unconscious, but they're actually being programmed to have diseases and other things from the commercials. But I think we've done a pretty good job of clearing up. We don't watch the news. Every once in a while I might want to check the weather. And we don't watch any of those shows that are about violence, unless by accident we think it's about something else. And most of the time we're on Gaia, which I don't think there's anything negative on Gaia. I would be surprised if there was. And then some music on YouTube. And I know some music like heavy metal, which I do not like. I know that that's not healthy. That's not good vibrations.
Yes, the frequencies are shattered.
And we don't listen to that kind of music.
Well, we thank you for your thought and attention to this matter, and we are dipping our toe into a conversation about the television as God.
Yes, and I appreciate the reminder, and I am always welcome you to inform me of any other things that I do that have negative vibrations or negative consequences. And I know food is one of the things. What we do, we're doing a pretty good job with that now. I didn't used to.
Dream with me for a moment now about what would happen if at midnight tonight and for the next 24 hours, every person on the planet exchanged the screen time for that 24 hours for meditation time.
It would change the world.
The world would be completely and utterly transformed in 24 hours.
Yep.
And so to ask of ones like yourself to make this exchange, what is the request really? It is to give up a pleasure, is it not?
Well, if you're asking for me not to be able to watch like the thing I saw tonight with Maria Jacob, then yes, that's listening to her was definitely a pleasure.
Well, that was an expansion for you.
Yeah.
And it was time well spent in consciousness and expansion.
Well,
And so in that you were giving your attention, which is lending your power to the expansion of consciousness. We're not speaking of that in particular. We are speaking of the entertainment aspects.
Okay, well, we don't really watch too much of that, but we can let it all go completely.
And we're not asking that. We're just imagining with you. We are planting a seed for imagination and creation of a different kind.
Yes.
And just asking you to think about, not just for yourself, but for all others, what is the reason, the payoff for this watching? It is called the entertainment industry for a reason. And what motivates the desire for entertainment?
I guess to change one's mood. Like comfort food, maybe.
Good. To alter one's state of being.
Yeah. And to stop thinking about all the unpleasant things that keeps popping into their head.
Yes.
How much they dislike their job and their life, and
yes,
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. And so to watch a thing that gives you joy and hope and is full of life and dreams and struggle and conquer, in so doing, one may consciously expand by envisioning themselves in the story, and by so doing creating an alternate reality for the self. Now, another reason we are having this conversation is that we will tell you that in days to come, the lines between reality and virtual worlds will be nearly erased altogether.
Hey, you're going to have to explain that to me. What is virtual world?
Artificial worlds generated by imagination through technology
will disappear.
The distinguishing lines between reality and the virtual worlds will nearly be erased. People will barely be able to distinguish between the two.
Which is definitely not a good thing.
So this is part of why we are opening up this conversation.
I got you. I understand. And so the part that we have is to stay conscious with what we see so that we can tell the difference, and to tune out the unreal and focus on the real.
Yes, we will repeat because repeating can be beneficial. Remember, your choice is to be conscious or unconscious, to expand or to contract. So be conscious in anything that you're watching. And be aware, is what you're watching expanding who you are or contracting who you are? And give your attention to that which expands your vision of yourself and your vision of humanity. And withdraw attention from that. Anything which you wouldn't want to be in your 3D real-time space. For instance, if you don't want a violent man with a gun standing in your living room right now, then don't watch it on the television, you see.
Yes, and we don't.
Yes. Expand or contract, conscious or unconscious, those are always the choices. And this evening you're watching was expansive and conscious. And there are many, even now as you channel who are watching and listening to videos of these channels, and in the doing of it, they are being expanded and their consciousness is being elevated.
Let me just make sure I'm clear on this. Watching comedy on TV that's not nasty and gross, like that tends to be on like Jimmy Kimmel, some of these programs that not the kind that are on cable where they can say whatever they want, but where it's cleaner comedy. Watching that, just that, is expansive. That is fine.
Laughter is good for you.
Yeah, okay. Yes, it is. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't any different whether it came over the TV or not. Didn't think it did, but...
No. No matter what the source, it is the frequency of the vibration that you evaluate. Okay, we feel this is a very good conversation, and as you know, we are never here as rule makers, but only to provoke your thought.
Yes, and we appreciate that. We need help, or we welcome the help. I need help. I should speak for myself.
We give you thanks for your openness.